What is up, everyone? It's your boy, a big-ass brain! Today, we're going to analyze the latest Powercreep, Brave Redux, also known as Farfetch'd Heroes 2, complete with that pretentious Choose Your Legends music. At this point, Intelligence System doesn't really even care about image or anything anymore. They say, there's not going to be any more power, or power creep is a problem that we're going to address. Yeah, we're going to address it by adding more power creeps. They're going to pull all the stops nowadays to try and suck that money away. And this really disgusts me. It was like this last year too, when they first had that first Farfetch'd Heroes banner. But I guess I'll save that rant for that Tiki thing. That'll be coming soon, I guess. But hey, look, when it's ready, I'll at least have a dumb story ready for that. Okay, anyhow, let's begin the analysis. So, the first hero we're graced with is Loki, whose massive boobs makes even Camilla green with envy. Boobosaurus sex is a prime example of trying to sell through body alone. Because, alright, let's be totally honest with ourselves here. Loki has no character whatsoever. Camilla, alright, at least Camilla we can argue. She's actually kind of cool. But Loki is just a terrible bundle of boobs and wasted potentials. A villainous mastermind? Nah, I just want to cause trouble for everybody. Alright, that's fine. Because there are other villains who have pulled it off in the past. I mean, just look at Kefka, look at the Joker. But what did Loki, even do in the story? Now, okay, maybe I missed the memo somewhere. Maybe I missed something. Because the only thing I can think of real, actual significance in the entire story was her pretending to be a small girl with freaky eyebrows. But come to think of it, even then, what even was the point of that? Look, alright, so we had one little scene where Alphonse goes, "Here's the traitor, your majesty!" And then they start pointing fingers, and then it was Alphonse, and then Loki gets revealed. Like, what? What the hell even is that? I don't get it. Maybe I'm dumb as hell, but Loki just doesn't seem to have anything going for her except, well, she has big boobs. So, anyway, now that this quote-unquote villain is on sale, freely summonable, and her story hasn't even came to an end yet, unlike our pals in Muspel who ended up getting sent to the Shadow Realm. All of a sudden, Loki is summonable, and she will serve us willingly. Well, yeah, that's great. Let's hope as a unit you have more than just boobs. I would be pleased, at the very least, for instance, we select Loki in the castle and she turns into someone else. Or we select someone else and it turns out that they were Loki. Now that would be cool. That would be fun. It would be a cool gimmick. It won't save her character, but it would be a cool gimmick. But I highly doubt Intelligence System thought ahead of that. I highly doubt they would do something as cool as that. It'll probably just be her talking about, "Ooh, summoner, yeah, how'd you like this little trick? Yeah, hey, look, I have really big boobs, but I can't turn myself into someone else because, I have big boobs, and I want to show you them." Okay, alright, I'm just, it's early in the morning, I don't have anything else to say with regards to that. But anyway, let's go over the meat of this actual thing then. So, let's go over first the Thok, or whatever way you pronounce it. So, as you've seen in the story already, this fun little gadget allows Loki to reduce the movement of ranged units to 1 in a cardinal direction from across the map, so long as she has 3 more HP than faraway target. Now, this could be very abusable, since the AI in this game is dumber than that of the Halloween Horrors AI in Dragalia Lost, you can potentially bait out a traffic jam on certain maps, and against enemies in the arena, you can have her slow the enemy range units to a crawl while you easily deal with their melee units with a melee specialist, such as, I don't know, Selena Miku or something. Combined with the 5 HP of Colorless Duel Infantry, she actually has a pretty good shot at playing Traffic Director in the arena. Though, it would help if she has some more merges and or summoner support to really solidify this role. But in general, most range units don't pack a lot of HP. Except maybe Virion and Odin. Mostly Virion. The dude has 46 HP. That's a lot of HP for a ranged unit. However, alright, on any other map that matters, you need to think again. Now, remember, do you guys remember that stupid healer with 70 HP panic ploying me from across the map in that dumb Marth Abyssal map? Yeah, that guy. You'll be hard pressed to ploy that, considering that you need the 73 HP for such a feat. So unless Loki puts most of her 150 BST into HP or something, you're not very likely to perform any deeds with Thok on those maps. With that said, I'm actually fairly certain that Loki will have 150 BST. I got downvoted for this on Reddit, but healer power creep is real, it's happening, and it all started with Mia. I mean, it's not significant as it's only 3 points, but it's there, and it gives her an entirely new bin in the arena. And most importantly, we all know how it all started last year. The first people that ended up getting power creep, who was it again? It was Aira and friends in the wonderful genealogy banner. No, well, I guess you could also argue the Choose Your Legends banner, but the Choose Your Legends banner was, at least, it has merit, it was special. And then they kind of just watered it down with Farfetch'd Heroes and, of course, the genealogy units. Aira was just, disgusting thing all of last year. I don't even want to talk about it. But anyway, so onto the subject of Colorless Infantry Duel. As I'm sure you are all aware, healers, they don't need their A slots, usually, because they don't have any real options, besides close counter and a couple defensive skills. So losing the A slot for a dual skill is of no significance to those demons. The main issue you'll have with these skills is probably just opportunity cost. Are you lucky enough to spawn a Loki? Now, I guess you could also slap it on, say, Dagger Olivia, as dancers are far more dangerous recipients of these skills for arena use. But honestly, I would just wait till Red or Blue Infantry Duel to appear and use it on old school Olivia or Ninian instead. Especially Ninian, as she has tons of HP to abuse Panic Ploy with. Anyway, back to the value of Colorless Infantry Duel. I think that it is neat in that now I can run my healers to stay in tier 21. Problem is the bonus units. If you don't have the bonus units, you're still as good as screwed. For example, okay? This season, I don't have a single plus 10 unit I can use. The only thing I have is Alphonse. So I can pretty much kiss any chance of staying in tier 21 goodbye for this season. Because mergers weigh a hell of a ton when you're competing in that bracket. And no amount of Alfonso Despacito will keep me there. Like, just take a look at last season. Well, even this season, really. What was occupying all the bonus unit slots? Oh, what is this? All the Muspel heroes? And what were the other 4 heroes? Either way, they were all paid heroes. Pretty much the entire list was full of paid heroes. I'm not going to be the type of guy who's going to spend money to plus 10 a unit every 2 or 3 weeks. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that's in any way sustainable. Unless you're really stupid. I mean, yeah, I could pay for it. I can easily afford it, but that's really stupid. I'd never do anything like that. So you see, this is why I stopped caring about the arena. Nowadays, I just use it to showcase my special units, ripping people apart on the arena. Speaking of which, I suppose I could use Colorless Infantry Duel on someone like Jenny or something. My Jenny is plus speed after all, so that horrifying monster will cut right into those nasty armors, and there's nothing they can do about it. Too bad though, I can't actually see her do it on defense. Like seriously, why is there no defense replays in this game? Don't give me that shit about how, oh, it's too server intensive, it's too difficult, or whatever. That's a load of bull. 400 million and you can't even execute a replay on a turn-based game? Seriously, Clash Royale is a real-time game, and they have replays after replays after replays. That horrible game puts this game to shame. But anyway, okay, so now, next up on her list of skill is the Earth Water Bomb. But compared to the Fire Wind version, Wind Fire, I don't know which direction it goes again, I think the defensive base skill is weaker, thanks to speed being such a valuable stat. And, instead of timing a skill to bait an attack, I would much rather to just run Drive or Tactics. After that, we have the now standard. I see every new unit with that skill now. Odd Attack Wave as a finisher. That's cute. Yeah, that's great. Works great for her Earth Water Bomb to create a cute little combo. Good luck with the timing though. Anyhow, Loki looks to be a fairly beefy healer who will likely have a decent chunk of HP to direct traffic with her Thok. So, if the story is anything to go by, her speed will probably be pretty decent too. And we all know how I feel about Carol with his massive HP pool and good speed, giving him unparalleled bulk. This talent will also allow her to play with Panic Ploy or any other nasty HP-based techniques in the future. Note though, you will need to make a considerable sacrifice for someone like Loki. You'll probably need Dazzling Staff in order to perform the Razzle Dazzle. So she's not exactly a cheap character to build, fully anyway. And still, there are other B slots such as God you could use to tide you over. Alright, and now onto the next unit. Next up we have Kliff, who must have suffered throat damage at some point, because he sounds kind of off.
I'm Kliff. I'm a member of the Deliverance.
Now, about this. Some of you may have remembered this interview they did with Ian Sinclair a while back, where he talked about the differences between voice acting in Heroes and in SOV. Let me pull it up for you. So the interviewer asked him about the difference, and Uncle said, "Night and day. Night and day, I feel empty and lonely. You get me out of this, give me one kiss." Anyway, one of them was really find his character, craft it, make it, and just the lines. There's this huge character arc, and all this change. And the other one was like, do that Berkut voice. Here's 12 or 13 cues. Here's how you feel. Roughly this. And then they would, that's a good amount of directing. They made sure I did it the right way. But Heroes was easy. Heroes was just kind of going in and being like, oh, it's like, There's video game sessions where you just kind of sit, when you just sit in there and there's just an Excel sheet and you go, huh? Blah, pra, brah, and wah, and you go through it. That was closer to that. Then the other one, which was this long script which had all these different moving parts. Super easy. Took me an hour. Less than an hour. So there you have it. $400 million plus in revenue. Spent it on God knows what. But certainly not on this game, that's for sure. Anyway, more rant sneaking in aside, Kliff is a good boy and it's about time he got into this game. So, what does he bring to the table? So for starters, he has this thing called a Sagittary. It's a tome that increases all of Kliff's stats by 5 if he faces someone who has 5 or more attack than him. It's a rather weird gimmick, and honestly, I don't know, I'm not sure if I really like it, because attack is a key stat that settles fights. So with Kliff, you'll have to rely on skill procs, and yeah, I think skill procs will be important to take care of your opponent. Mostly your skill procs and speed. Unfortunately though, that means that heavy blade and infantry rush is out of the question. He'll have to rely on flashing blade and special Spyro infantry poles to do the job. So hopefully he's a really fast unit. At least with this, you can easily assign him as the one carrying the attack buffs. I mean, he's gonna be the buffer. Sorry, bro. As for the rest of his kit, the new Fortress Dev Res is some serious power creep. Not only do you cover both Dev and Res, but also a greater amount for a smaller price in attack. Because Fortress skills are visible stat increases, you have a very powerful ploy user on your hands. This type of skill will also go well on enemy phase characters that prefer a more tank and spank style, like Owain, for example, who we mention later. And most importantly, you now have a very dedicated tank for grand hero battles and so on, or for solo. It's a very valuable tool. If I get this skill, it is going on Dr. Sakura right away, and her defenses will reach some new heights, and she will be literally unstoppable, huh? So yeah, sorry Brazen Devres and Old Fortress skills, but you have been power creep. This is the premier tanking skill now. For every situation anyway. The breast skills are still going to be very sought after, although only really for enemy phase. Aside from this, Kliff doesn't really have much more noteworthy skills. Growing Light is a joke. Chill Speed is nice, but you're more likely to be foddering Kliff for the Fortress skills. And Fortify Res? What are we, still in the early 2017? Okay, alright. So finally, we have our final unit on this banner. The Dark Hero, the Chosen One himself! Owain has finally joined the battle. Well, he's always been here, but now he could use his twitching sword hand to pulverize his opponents! So his legendary weapon is the much coveted Missiletainn. And the sword's gimmick is that he gains a cooldown charge of +1 when he takes a hit from someone. Though unfortunately not the other way around, unlike breath skills. Not that it really matters, because with a native cooldown reduction, he can immediately counterattack with his deadly blue flame. Now this skill is basically a power creep version of Moonbow and Bonfire type skills, depending if he's standing near an ally. Although it is a solid number of 10 and 25 that will not grow any further, or weaken any further, an equivalent unit will need to have 50 defense in order to compete with Bonfire. So this is very much a powerful skill, trumped only by Black Luna. Compounding this is his native Wrath skill, as the first guy who gets a skill, if he survives an attack and can counterattack, he will very, very likely dunk his target to death, completely obliterating them. So with this in mind, you can just get rid of his attack and death bond. While he does have great synergy with his blue flames, distant counter is the skill to be on this guy. Since he plays completely enemy phase, you definitely want him to share the wealth to range targets as well. However, skills like the aforementioned Fortress Dev Res isn't bad either. The -2 attack is a small price to pay in order to fight Manicheets and the tank guys who can't even counterattack, such as the evil healers or fire sweep users. After all, Owain can unleash his true power if he survives the attack, so you gotta do whatever it takes. Now unfortunately for Owain though, he has little value on the attack unless he has Wrath handy, or I guess if he can double his enemy without dying. And because he's so reliant on his skills, he'll be deeply susceptible to guys running God, or Special Fighter, or Wah! The fact that he's also a red sword means he has to compete with the likes of other red tank and spangers, such as Burger King, or Selena Miku, or Alolan Selena. So his bag of tricks really isn't exactly anything new that you haven't seen before. And his speed dev is a complete placeholder that should be replaced with something else as soon as possible. Still, Owain is one of my favorite characters in Awakening for good reason, so I'm glad he's finally back to his old self in this game. Well, so there you have it. 3 heroes with 3 gimmicks. Honestly, this should be the Farfetch'd banners instead. Makes the most sense to me, but I digress. Hey, at least we're getting Adversa out of all this in the end. And that's going to be our first free flying tome user. So make sure you take good care of her, because that's a very valuable unit you'll be getting. Anyway, I thank you all for watching. Until next time.